What is happening? It is good to be with you today. We miss you so much and we love you, and we're looking forward to when we get to be together again. This week we're beginning a brand new sermon series. This series is called In My Opinion. If you know anything about me, I have an opinion on almost everything. And here's the thing, I think you do too. Over the next few weeks, we'll begin to see how our opinion can shape our perspectives in both some good ways and in some bad ways. But before we get into this, I want to jump into a game. But for this game, I'm gonna need someone to help me. So I'm gonna grab Jordy. Jordy, come on in here.
What's up, JP?
So here's the deal. The game is called What Do You Meme? And so we're gonna see all these different images, and we're gonna get about 3 seconds. And then in those 3 seconds, our job is to come up with a great meme for these images. And we're gonna see whose is better. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh.
Okay, I got this one.
Okay.
I got this one first. Carol Baskin's husband. What you got?
Oh, okay. I mean, when you see that plate of food coming out from the...
So good. That's nice. All right, hold on. Here we go, guys.
This one.
All right, what you got?
I'm gonna say whenever you're like peeping into that Snapchat, trying to see what they're saying, but like, it's like in and out.
I was gonna be like, you make that TikTok and it's like a little racy, and you're like, oh, no one's gonna see it, and then Jesus is like, I see it. Hey.
Okay. This one. I got this one. Okay, so Spencer, all of you who know iCarly, that's Spencer, and he is your 2020 plans. And then Gibby comes up with the stop sign and whacks you with Corona. I mean, it's just done.
Done deal. I was thinking like you're planning on going out, hanging out with your friends, and mom gets you. She's like, nope.
Ooh.
Out of it.
This is me. Every time I go outside, I feel like I have so many quarantine jokes, but like whenever I'm out in public and then all of a sudden like I've got a cough coming on and I'm like, I don't want to cough because they're gonna think I got COVID, but like, so you're like holding it in.
Can't do it. For me, this one is like every single time that I think about all the things I'm missing out on because of Corona. It's like,
Same.
What you got there?
Ooh, this one, okay. His face, he's just like. Okay, but anyways, I would say that this one is like, you're so excited that school is out, and then all of a sudden you get hit with those online classes.
Here's what I got. I got this one being, I lost it. Completely lost it. Hold on. Oh, it's when mom and dad are like, hey, we're gonna have some family fun.
Oh.
Forced family fun. That's what that is. Well, that's all we got, guys. Man, it's been so fun playing this game. If you guys got some better captions or memes or anything like that, go ahead and post them for us. We would love to see it. We would love to interact. But here's the deal. Jason has a phenomenal message coming up, so check it out.
What is going on, Fuse? I'm so glad that you're joining us today. I have a question. In your opinion, which one is better? Moms or dads? Brothers or sisters? Teachers or principals? Pastors or small group leaders? We're starting a new series today called In My Opinion. Why is it called that? Well, because if there's one thing that we all have, it's an opinion. I don't know about you, but I feel like I hear that phrase, in my opinion, a lot. Sometimes we use it when we're not totally sure how what we're going to say will be received, or if it will be judged. Like maybe you want to talk about your favorite song, or the coolest new sneakers on the market, or that funniest YouTube video you just watched, but you don't know if everybody else feels the same way about it that you do. So you add a quick, in my opinion. In my opinion, LeBron James is the greatest NBA player of all time. We might not use that phrase when we don't want other people to judge us. But it works both ways. Sometimes we use it to give ourselves permission to be the one passing judgment. Adding a quick, in my opinion, makes us feel free to say what we really think. In my opinion, she's ugly. In my opinion, that guy is a real jerk. That movie is the worst in my opinion. On their own, those thoughts are merely judgments we've made about other people. But when we present them as opinions, we suddenly feel better about sharing them. Now, just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with opinions, both having one and sharing one. The problem is that sometimes what we call an opinion is really just a judgment. It's something negative that we think or say about someone else. And when we start spreading those opinions around, well then, we've got a problem. But you don't need me to tell you this, do you? The problem is that sometimes what we call an opinion is really just a judgment. It's something negative that we think or say about someone else. And when we start spreading those opinions around, well then we've got a problem. But you don't need me to tell you this, do you? As a middle schooler, you know exactly how much time people spend spreading their opinions around. You know better than most just how often students talk or gossip about each other. And here's my question about that. Why? Why is it that we find gossip such an easy thing to do? Why do we feel so free to talk about each other? The reality is gossip is a huge part of our current culture. We have TV shows and podcasts and other forms of entertainment that are basically centered around the idea that it's okay to gossip about and judge other people. Some celebrities build their entire brand on being talked about. They don't mind being the center of the gossip because it means they're the center of attention. And social media? Well, the comments section there could almost be called the gossip section. Maybe you even see this playing out at home, or at church, or at school. Your parents, your teachers, your coaches, your small group leaders, they gossip around you, so could it really be that big of a deal? Well, I think we all know the answer to that question. It's yes, of course it is. We know because we've seen gossip go bad. We've seen the consequences and hurt and embarrassment. It's brought on someone else, and we don't want that on us. Maybe we've even experienced it ourselves. But is there anything we can do to change it? If gossip is such a big part of our culture, how are we supposed to keep from doing it? Today, we're going to look at a verse from the Bible written by a guy known as the Apostle Paul. Now, Paul was a leader in the early Christian church. He had a lot of influence in the spread of Christianity and around the world. Because of that, he often wrote letters to encourage the Christian church of his time. A lot of those letters are a part of what is called the New Testament in the Bible. The verse we're going to look at today is from the book called Ephesians, which is actually a letter Paul wrote to the church in a city called Ephesus. Paul wanted to encourage the believers there to live differently than the people around them. And he's calling us today to live the exact same way. And one of those areas where Paul wanted his fellow Jesus followers to live differently was in the way they spoke. Here's what he wrote in Ephesians 4:29. Don't use foul or abusive language. When Paul used the phrase foul and abusive language, he wasn't just talking about cuss words or harsh words or any type of words that might put someone down. He was talking about any language that hurts, breaks down, and damages friendships, relationships, and influence. In fact, the Greek word he used actually translated to mean rotten. Let me show you what that means. Have you ever seen, this is disgusting, but a rotten banana? I mean, it smells terrible. It turns nasty colors. I think I even have banana juices on my hand right now. And basically, it's nothing you want lying around your kitchen, right? Well, Paul said that this is the kind of language, the opinions that we spread around as gossip. It does the same thing. It rots our relationships, our friendships, our ability to influence others. So what do? How do we start to produce good fruit like this? Good fruit instead of the rotten fruit. When the words that we use come out of our mouth as good, they start to produce good fruit. Well, I think it's something that Jesus said in Mark chapter 7 that goes back to this, and it says this: "It's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You're defiled by what comes from your heart." It's not really about the person you're talking about. No. Gossip is really more about what's happening inside of you. It's about what's happening in your heart. That's what Jesus was saying here. When we use language that hurts or speaks badly about someone else, the kind of language that rots, that's happening because of something similar or something inside of us that's rotten, going on in our own heart. When you talk badly about someone or speak with the intentions of hurting, embarrassing, making fun of, or shaming them, it doesn't necessarily show something rotten about that person. It shows something rotten about you. I don't know about you, but that's not the kind of fruit I want to produce in my life. So if we want to change our words and stop gossiping, we've got to change our hearts. We've got to ask ourselves, what's going on inside of us that makes us want to say those things? And then we've got to make the choice to choose to change our language. Because here's the truth. When it comes to gossip, you can choose not to participate. You can choose to not to speak the words that hurt or shame or embarrass someone else. You can choose to use the good fruit, to say the good fruit. And here's what I love about this. Paul didn't leave us to figure it out on our own. If we go back to his letter one more time, he gives us a tip on exactly what kind of language we can choose that's not only better for the other person, but better for ourselves. Going back to Ephesians 4:29, this is what it says: "Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them." Instead of gossiping, Paul said that we can choose words that are good and helpful. We can choose to say things that encourage. We can say things that are loving. In other words, we can choose words that help others, not words that hurt others. When you love and care about others first, when that's the attitude in your heart, you'll stop yourself from saying the negative things. You will think before you speak. So what is the attitude of your heart right now? Remember, choose words that help others, not words that hurt others. Now, I know that gossip is going to be all around you, and everyone else might be doing it, but you get to choose if you contribute or not. In fact, you have the power not to do what everyone else is doing. You have the power to choose words that build people up instead of tearing people down. And it's the power of Jesus. It's why he died on the cross, so that he can be there with you, for all of you. You start following Jesus and your words that come out of your mouth start to change. I'm not saying that it's not always gonna be hard or easy, but just because it's fun or natural or true doesn't mean it's good. And you don't have to do this on your own. When you give your life over to God, God's very Spirit lives inside of you, and He loves you to help to choose you to speak life instead of the words that rot. So ask Him for help. The next time you find yourself about to give an opinion you know is nothing more than gossip, I want you to stop and ask yourself this: why do I want to say this? What does this show about my heart? Then give yourself a new filter for your words. Use this one Paul gave to us by asking, is it helpful? Is it going to build up or encourage? Is it going to bring good fruit? Or is it going to bring bad fruit? Basically, we should choose words that help others, not words that hurt others. So today, I want you to think about this one question. What's one reason I tend to want to gossip?
Here's the deal, guys. We all do it. We speak before we think. We say things without thinking how they're going to affect other people. We're critical of others, and we're even critical of ourselves. But we don't have to continue to act this way. And if we're serious about following God's plan for our lives, some things need to change. As we move into worship, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Who is that person? You know, the person that you've been treating unfairly, the person that you've been gossiping about behind their backs, the person that you've had all these terrible thoughts about in your head. You got that person? I want you to spend the next few moments asking God for forgiveness and spending the next few moments praying for them. Would you join me as we pray? Dear God, I know that I've messed up a lot. I've made a ton of different mistakes in my life, and God, there's so many people that I've treated unfairly. God, I pray that you'd help change me from the inside out. God, that you would change my heart, that you would show me the areas that are not of you and the way to change. God, would you help me be the person that you've designed and created me to be? God, I love you and I'm thankful for you. Pray all these things in your son's name. Amen.
How great the chasm that lay between us. How high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation, I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. And through the darkness, your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Who could imagine so great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross has spoken, why forgiven? The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. Oh, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe. And out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. And then came the morning, and that sealed the promise. Your very body began to break, and out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Jesus, yours is the victory. Sing hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Oh, hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Jesus Christ, my living hope. God, you are my living hope.
I'm thankful that you chose to spend today with us. But I want you to do something for me. Before you jump into anything else today, before you move on, send someone a message from your group. I just want you to thank them for who they are and telling them how much you miss them and how much you love them. Sometimes being alone and isolated is hard, and we don't want anyone to go through stuff alone. And so I just want to thank you right now for reaching out to someone that you haven't seen or heard from in a while. We love y'all, and we can't wait to see you next week. Later.